and welcome to TV Retrospective, where we retrospectively look back at TV. I'm Conor.
I'm Kyran.
And so now for this series of TV Retrospective, it will be a little different. The reason being is that a lot of people wanted to watch Ben 10. So instead of having 3 regular hosts, we have 2 hosts and a guest for every episode. Speaking of guest, our guest today is Josh.
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
Pretty fantastic. I just watched Ben 10 again for the first time in quite a long time, so very nostalgic, very good.
Oh, fair enough. So, now I was going to ask a guest each episode, but I feel like Kyran and I will eventually answer the question. But I was just going to ask, what got you into Ben 10, or what got you interested in it, whether it be originally or now for a rewatch?
Well, the first time I originally got into it, I think was like most kids back in the day. I was about 6 years old or so, and it was the most exciting TV show I could watch at my grandparents' because they had Ozstar back in the day and they had Cartoon Network. We didn't have Cartoon Network, so it was the most exciting thing ever to go over their place, go watch Cartoon Network, watch some Ben 10, sometimes Spider-Man or whatever else was on that, but especially Ben 10. That was one of my favorite shows of all time back in the day, and then I stopped watching it for about 12 years, maybe more. And then for this, I got back into it and I was not disappointed. I was really worried that when I started watching it again, it had just kind of let me down. It wouldn't be as good as I remembered. But no, this is a high quality show. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, like, I had a similar thought where I was like, oh, I don't know if this will be, like, I knew it was going to be good, but I was like, I don't know if it's going to be as good as I remember it. And at the start of the first few episodes, I'm like, oh, maybe it isn't as good. And then, like, you hit, I think it was, like, episode 7, I'm like, oh, whoa, I actually like this.
Episode 7, Kevin 11.
Well, we'll get to that one, but, yeah,
What a
so,
legend.
unless Kyran, you have anything to say?
Not really yet.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, we'll get into it. So, Season 1, Episode 1, and then there were 10. What are you guys' thoughts on the pilot episode, or the first episode that we got?
I really like it because I think the first time I watched Ben 10 back in the day, I never actually saw the first episode. I just learned about how he got the Omnitrix through the amazing musical intro. But
That's
yeah,
very
so
fair.
that was good. Great to see the proper backstory. I don't know, it's just what really gets me about Ben 10 all the time is how Grandpa and Gwen and Ben are all so chill about all these catastrophes that are happening. Like they're burning down a forest in the first episode. Oh yeah, no big deal. We'll just quickly fix that before the park ranger gets here. I don't know. It's just, I swear they've done billions of dollars worth of damage throughout all the Ben 10 seasons, and no one cares.
Probably.
It just doesn't make sense to
It
me.
feels like a YouTube video waiting to happen, like all the destruction and the property damage that the Ben 10 crew caused. Season 1, Season 2. Because I remember the first episode was like a rare find, because you'd watch it on Cartoon Network and it would always be like, you know, you'd random episodes. And I think the first season I owned was like Season 2. Because I collected all the seasons on DVD, because of course I did. And I remember like going to Blockbuster and then they had Season 1 there. And I'm like, oh, I finally got to watch the first episode. I get to see how it happened, even though we get it in the intro. You know, we get to see how he discovers all the aliens and stuff. And I watched it and I'm like, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually started the show, I'm pretty sure, by watching the first episode. Because I think I actually like started it out by getting like the first season on disc, wondering what it was. So like I remember the first season a lot better than all the others.
Oh,
So yeah, like the first episode, it shows that the show has a lot of promise from the start. Because you see all the original 10 aliens at the start, but then you only really interact with 3, kind of 4 in the first episode. It also shows off probably one of the best parts of the entire show, which is
Diamond Head?
when he but also like when he transforms into the aliens. Because like Transformation scenes are probably my favorite part of the entire just
God, they're
franchise.
really good. I love that this entire franchise has an underlying thing of body horror.
Yeah.
Like it just is, and it's so good. I think I've even written in my notes, it's like episode 1. Watch arriving is good. Body horror element. Nice.
Yeah.
I'd never really thought about it that way, but I guess so. Yeah.
Really? Oh, alright.
Is it painful to do those transformations, do you reckon?
Well,
it kind of looks painful.
I
but-
think in like Alien Force, they go into it like it sounds a bit like it seems a bit more painful.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the transformations, they happen in like milliseconds.
Yeah, it
like,
does.
It's near instantaneous, so you don't really
Oh,
notice.
yeah. We just see the super cool slow motion, awesome music bit.
Yeah. And that's my favorite
Yeah.
part about the first season, like which episode you see which character's like transformation for the first time. Because I'm pretty sure in episode 1 you only see Heat Blast, which is a bit different from when it normally is, and you also see Wild Mutts. Because I know you don't see Diamond Head until like episode 5, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you do. Yeah, because that was like that was a more spotlight on Diamond Head that episode. Where like the first one is Heat Blast, and I gotta say, how cool is Heat Blast?
Heat Blast was one of my favorites from the start. He is so
really
great.
cool.
Like I can't, because like your mascots for the series is like Heat Blast forearms. Like those are your main 2 aliens.
Of course,
And I was like,
yeah.
they're cool.
I'd
but,
also
like,
say Wild Mutt, probably.
yeah,
Wild Mutt's in like the same as Diamond Head. He's like
Yeah.
slightly below.
yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, but like, and because my favorites are Diamond Head and Accelerate, and from this rewatch,
Accelerate.
yeah, I love Accelerate, but I think
Mine's
from this,
Diamond Head and Upgrade. Upgrade's
I forgot about
fucking
Upgrade's the
awesome.
best. I love Upgrade. I've still got a figure like a small little plastic, because there used to be like all these collectible things like the blind bags.
Wow,
Like, they had,
they
like,
had
this-
those?
They had these
I
like
didn't even
small
know
toy
that.
blind bags where you could open it up and it has like a little like a platform and like the figurine. And it was pretty much
that's
like
exciting.
and it was just I had like probably almost all of them, but now as the years have gone on, I only have Upgrade left.
Oh, yeah.
I just have a small Upgrade one. And I'm like, good. I don't think I got Diamond Head because I feel like I would have kept him.
Yeah.
But you know,
I've got this action figure here that I've just had on my bookshelf for years, from all the way back then, and it was like this thing where you can twist the body and like the arm slams down on the watch, and it has these things you can put over the arm.
I used to have
like,
one of
one-
those.
Wow.
Yeah, so like one of his arms is Heat Blast, one's forearms, and one's Ben Wolf from like I think that's season 3.
Yeah, I think that's season 3. I had one of those, but it was like Diamond Head, Accelerate, and then I think another alien, but I lost that piece.
Yeah.
Gee, I remember back in the day, all I ever wanted was like a replica Omnitrix that I could wear around to school. That was the dream.
That's the thing, because I remember, Conor, you sort of had something like that, but they never really made one that you could like slam down.
No, I remember I had one which was like you could put in like those like cards to like, and you could flip through the cards to look through the different aliens.
Oh yeah, I
So
have
that-
one of those.
Yeah, I had one of those, but it was like it just wasn't. It was like cool, but you know, it could have
Yeah,
been
it
way
didn't
better.
transform you into aliens, so
Yeah, what the
Yeah,
heck?
it just wasn't
dude?
good enough.
What are you doing, Cartoon Network?
It's a rip-off.
Oh my gosh. No, but
I
like
just wanted one though where you could just like push the middle down. That's all I wanted, and I don't think there is one.
they had that for Alien Force.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
'Cause-
they did because I remember you having that, but like,
I still
you
have
could
that one.
barely push it down.
Yeah, it didn't.
remember.
It wasn't like an awesome like pop up and push down. It was like a pop up push down.
Well,
It's
it's
like
like
a
you get-
gentle tap down rather than the big smash down.
I mean, you could hit it.
Oh, okay.
It just
Oh,
like
that's not
like
too
how
bad.
Ben can
Oh,
hit the
yeah,
watch. It doesn't mean it's good for it.
No, that's actually something they explain
I
later.
love that
The
so
reason he
much.
keeps turning into random aliens is because he keeps slamming it down and it keeps like messing it up and accidentally changing it at the
Oh.
last second. So they
Classic
actually
Ben.
have a reason for that.
Which is why in the few times he just presses it down, he gets the right alien. Like I love I noticed that in the first episode when he just presses it down for Heat Blast, and I'm like, yeah, you go.
Gee.
And then from
I had
then on,
no
you go
idea about
smack,
that.
smack, smack.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes so much sense though. Okay. No, that's
Oh.
cool.
No, but yeah, I think what were the other notes? It's like
So,
I
are
gotta
we still on episode 1
yeah,
at
I
the
think
moment?
I don't have much else to say out of episode 1 apart from the fact that I just really like Grandpa Max.
Oh, he is so chill.
Yeah,
He's just
Grandpa's
the
amazing.
best.
Nothing
One thing-
phases Grandpa Max.
Yeah. One thing I also like though, I love the design of Vilgax's drones, especially the big one that Diamond
Oh
hit.
yeah.
I think they just look really cool.
Oh, it looks super good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. They're pretty good.
So
Yeah, it's amazing how imaginative they were, like right from the start. It seems like such a unique concept, unless I'm wrong, unless there's like other similar shows that they might have copied off. But
there isn't really any similar shows. Man of Action, who created the like, they were like, this was like one of their first shows they did, I think, or their first. And it was like, because the original premise was that a kid could turn into like 10 different superheroes.
yeah,
But then they changed the aliens, and that's where I think one of the reasons the remake kind of stuffed up. Because, again, it was made by one of the guys who made the original show who thought it should have stayed with superheroes. So he changed it so like Stinkfly's just like a regular guy, kind of, and I'm like, that kind of sucks.
It does suck.
He's not,
No,
and
the
also
alien
that's,
aspect
I always forget
is a great
Stinkfly
idea.
exists.
I'm always
Stinkfly, but he's in so many episodes.
I like Stinkfly because he's just like, that's an alien.
Yeah.
Because the other one's like, they're humanoid. That, my friend, is an alien.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Stinkfly. He's
I
alright.
think he's alright, yeah. I don't hate any of the aliens. They're all, like, in the series, they're all good, like, designs and got cool stuff to them. You just don't get to see them too often.
Honestly, out of the original 10, I would say the worst is probably Ghost Freak. But then he gets
Even
AMC
then,
changes to... Yeah,
even
but later
then,
becomes one of the best characters. But,
true,
like, that's a whole
but
different
I don't know. I wouldn't call him the worst. Like, trying to
He's
think.
only used like twice,
Yeah,
and only once to actual effect.
No, he was.
Oh, yeah.
He was used 3 times. Excuse me, 3 times. Keep track.
I only remember him being used once that it actually. No, wait, yeah, I remember them all, but he only was used once and it did something good.
True. So episode 2, Washington, BC, in which we get one of our recurring villains, Dr. Animo. He's fine.
Yeah, he's alright.
It's not a bad episode. It was a fine episode. I think it's the first episode you see forearms.
Yeah.
Really, really good
And
moral lesson
Stinkfly.
for... Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I was just saying it's a really good like episode for a moral lesson for Ben. You get a lot of those episodes, but this was like a particularly obvious moral lesson.
Yeah.
That he shouldn't do all this superhero stuff for the fame and the glory, kind of like Dr. Animo is trying to get fame and glory through his trophy.
I felt this episode was just fine. Like, I've gotten my notes, like, the writing isn't the best thing. Like, I was like, it's like the first episode it's fine, you can go along and stuff, but the second episode you're like, yeah, that could have been written better, but like it works for kids.
Exactly.
It could have been better, and I think also in my notes, I think it was just an episode where Gwen and Ben were arguing a lot, and I just wrote in my notes they're no Dipper and Mabel. But again, that's just there's just almost a decade difference between the two series. So there's just a difference in like time frames and the shows being made. So like it works and it's a fine episode and it's got a good villain who I think goes on to do a few better episodes, I think later on from what I remember. But
yeah, Animo recurs through actually most of the series. Because I know he appears at least one more time in the original show, and I'm pretty sure he appears in Alien Force or Ultimate Alien Force
he
or
appears
twice.
like at least 3 times in the original show, like at least once a season. I think this episode 3, The Kraken. My only note is me going, eh.
The only reason, like, I kind of like this episode, but I'm also kind of mad. The main reason it's good, it's one of the only times Ripjaw is in the thing.
Yeah, I was like, it's neat to see him. He is very rare.
Yeah, he's rare because he's only used in water circumstances.
And he's
all
only
the way
used
through
in the
game.
original series. I'd never see him appear ever again.
Oh, really? Oh.
I don't
Yeah,
think he's even in the remake.
He loses Ripjaw, but I know in Omniverse, at least I know there's definitely an Omniverse. There might be in others. There's a character that's the same species as
Yeah,
Ripjaw.
he's in the Omniverse. I remember him, but like you know, you just don't. He appears in this series, but
He's one of the most forgettable aliens. I only remember him because he's so forgettable.
Yeah.
that's one way to do it. But like, yeah, this episode had the twist of like, oh, we're environmentalists, but secretly we're not. Which I was like, okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. I liked the crazy boat captain character. He was
Yeah.
alright.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was all right. Then we have episode 4, Permanent
All right.
Retirement.
Yes.
I really like this episode.
I remembered this, like, this is one of the episodes where I remembered being like, okay, we're coming up to this episode, because I know this episode, and I watched it, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good, I enjoy this one.
I always think this one comes later in the season than it
Yeah.
does. I just heard this one's like near episode 7 or 8, but no, it's 4. But I know this is when Ghost Freak is first used.
This is when Ghost Freak first gets used, and then I love because you get to see the Ghost Freak transformation, which is really cool, because it just like Ben goes, yeah, he died, and now he's a ghost.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then it's weird to think there's a whole alien planet full of these creatures.
Mm.
You're like,
Wow.
huh, that's like, I think in Omniverse you get to see the planets. Well, you get to see like the Halloween planet pretty much. We just got like the Frankenstein, Ben Wolf, and like it goes freaks and etc.
Oh yeah.
All
Like
right.
and like a vampire one, all inhabiting the one planet. But it's just like a thing where you're like a ghosts exist in this universe as aliens. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
As a concept. But this one I really like because again you have some classic body horror with like the extending limbs and stuff.
Oh yeah. And I'm pretty sure like the old guy, his arm gets cut off by a golf club at one point.
I think it
Oh,
does too.
This is a children's show.
I like that it says mild animated violence and themes and PG.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, alright. And it also has good stakes. Like Max has been captured by these aliens. Ben and Gwen are out on their own. They got to sort this issue out. It has some high stakes, and it gets like really intense when they go down the bunker and they see these alien pods full of like the old people,
And they have to fight Grandpa.
They have to rescue
as well.
them. Yeah.
Because he's like mind controlled, or what is it actually? They're possessed.
It's
or...
it's an invasion of body snatcher. They take the body, put them in it's literally that. They take the body, put it in a pod, and then they dress like them, and then they go out and have a walk.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. I always remember liking this one though, because it's like just the kids versus a bunch of adults.
Yeah.
Like it's the first time you really see that. And I just, like, when you're a kid, that's something you really like, because you're like, I can actually do things in the world and not just sit there and do nothing.
I can beat up old people.
Yeah. Isn't that what all kids want?
There was so many digs at old people in that episode too. Oof. Would be tough watching that episode with your grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah, the grandparents been like, oh, I understand, invasion of the body snatchers, and they turn to you and you go, you just point at them. Episode 5, Hunted. I kind of remembered this episode, but it's just because I like the bounty. I just like it because it's the Star Wars scene where like Darth Vader's like, I need a bounty hunter.
This episode is probably my favorite episode in the entire series.
Wow.
It's definitely my favorite in season 1. Mainly because I like the Claw bounty hunter so much.
He is really good though. He's pretty good.
Yeah. It's also where Grandmatter first shows up, and Diamond Head is used a lot.
Oh yeah.
And also you get to see the Diamond Head species. Like I had one
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. But like the other bounty hunter, he's revealed to be a Diamond Head. And he's like he I think appears once or twice in the rest of the series. Like he comes back.
Yeah.
I know he comes back in
He's
the movie.
He's a
That's like a main
character.
character. But like I just because it's like a reveal of like yeah, Ben, you're an alien, but you have no idea of what aliens can actually do. You just know the very basics.
It's also got the twist of the bad guy probably most powerful one actually being the good guy.
Oh yeah.
Which like doesn't
Diamond
seem like
good guy.
much of a thing now, but back then when you're a kid, you never expect it.
Well, yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's like a
major
very...
plot twist.
But even then, like, I expected it because I knew the character going in. I'm like, oh man, he's got a cool hoverboard. I'm pretty sure I had that one as a kid. Or at least one of my toys had a hoverboard with Ben.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Ben actually gets that hoverboard, and he actually gets to use it in later episodes. So it shows the show does have sort of continuations, other than just like recurring characters.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And the whole Vilgax plotline and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like being seeded through that every second or third episode you have like a little bit which is Vilgax behind the scenes. Which is, it's cool and it has like that Darth Vader effect.
Yeah. Adds to it a little bit. You've got a whole big villain in the background.
The only thing I don't like about this episode, the Crab Bounty Hunter, who's probably one of my favorite characters, he's the only character out of this episode that never shows up again, to my knowledge.
Oh,
because I noticed 6 shows up multiple times, and there's also like a brown one called 5-5, and they show up a few times.
I forgot he.
The Diamond Head guy is like an actual character, but the Crab guy I don't think ever shows up again.
That kind of sucks.
But I also think he kind of dies.
I think he does too, because I think his electronics just get pulled.
Yeah, Grey Matter basically just jumps in his neck and pulls out all his electronics.
Dang.
Well, the other bounty hunter is 6'6", right? He's like the Boba Fett. He doesn't talk and dies like a dumbass.
Yeah, pretty much. And his jetpack gets destroyed.
The jetpack is good. I was watching him, man. He's
cool.
like Boba Fett. He's kind of cool, but overall, don't care.
The thing I find weird about 6'6", he has these weird baby arms that just come out of him.
Yeah.
And they grab knives and throw them. Why does he have baby hands just all over him?
I don't know. I think that's creative. I like that.
It's creative. I'm just why? Because I always see that, and I just imagine the freaking weird horror thing from Toy Story, the baby head on the.
Oh yeah.
I always think of that, or I just think of those things. I'm all in the suit of 6'6", just trying to kill Ben. I'm like, what is happening here?
That is a very that is a terrifying image.
Because I'm pretty sure one of those things has a handle sign that looks like that.
No, I agree with you. It's just that is a ugh. Okay. Next episode is it's fine. It has some cool stuff in it,
This is the one I always forget.
I always remember this one.
Which
because,
one is this one?
Tourist Trapped.
This is the one with the little battery demons.
With the Megabots.
That was an interesting episode.
It's fine.
Ben wrecked a lot of stuff again.
It's fine, but I think I put it in my notes. It's Stinkfly is just Stitch.
Oh yeah.
It's the same voice. How I point out that How to Train Your Dragon, Toothless is just Stitch again.
Wow.
A lot of I know that in How to Train Dragons, the dragon's actions are based more on cats, but the way that the fins and stuff work and the way he interacts is very much like Stitch, except for the killing and murder, etc. But
Oh yeah.
But it's just a thing where I'm that's just Stitch.
I never thought of that, but now that you're saying it, the voice does sound very similar.
No, it very much is.
Stinkfly and Stitch.
And then I think this is the first time I noticed because the show has a very interesting style with its backgrounds. Its backgrounds are very grainy.
Yeah.
Actually, most of the shows around that time and the shows made by the same people had that effect.
Well, yeah, at the time, I guess.
I kind of like that style, to be honest.
I think it's cool, and I'm oh, cool for having that type of style. It was just very noticeable, and episode 5 and 6.
Yeah, it's a bit like Tom and Jerry episodes. How in them you can, if you see a black outline around something, you know that it's going to move.
Yeah, it's Scooby Doo. Where you're huh. I wonder what rock they're gonna pick up. What, that rock?
Yeah,
No
it's like
way.
it's kind of like that. Like it's so you can tell what things are going to be interacted with more.
Well, I mean,
Oh.
like, I understand that for animation, but even in, like, even when you don't, like, even when it's just not just that, it's just grainy, I'm like, oh yeah. Like, I think Chowder has a similar, not as similar, but, like, it has that similar, like, effect of, like, a little bit of graininess.
Chowder's
I guess
weird.
I'm trying to
it
think of,
keeps
like,
your
other
focus on the
shows.
foreground and everything as well.
Yeah, I think that's the main point of it. It's just, like, in an episode, like, tourist trapped and looking around in the background going, huh, that's interesting.
I think it's more like obvious there because they're in just sort of a desert in those
Yeah.
episodes.
That's fair. But like but in like episode 7, Kevin 11, yeah, 7-Eleven, that nice one, clapping a,
Yeah,
just gonna.
I always
Yeah.
remember it's episode 7 because
They would have done that on purpose, right? For sure.
Oh, obviously,
maybe.
cool.
Oh, it's pretty good.
But yeah, so episode 7, this is I walked in and go, oh yeah, it's Kevin 11. He's a recurring character and stuff. He becomes like a main character in Alien Force and from then on. So I'm like, how's the first episode? What's it going to be like? It was really good.
I really liked it as well. It was nice. You could see how extremely flawed Kevin 11 was.
It had some really
you
good
felt bad
states.
for him too.
Like it's got some cool action scenes.
Yeah,
Really
that
good
episode
stakes.
goes from like 0 to 11 like, really quick because it goes from like them just in arcade to oh god, the FBI's on our ass. The only thing that I find really weird about this episode, so Kevin's power in this, he can just absorb electricity and then use it as sort of a weapon. I don't know how that turns to him just being able to absorb anything in the future.
I think what that was is no, I understand that because I think what happened was he noticed that he could absorb electricity as a kid, and then as he got older and was in like the null void. Well, when he's in the null void and stuff, eventually later on, spoilers.
I remember that.
Like when he's in, I feel like that's when he starts to discover like his different types of powers and stuff, and so he can discover that he can like use metal and rock and stone.
Well, I'm pretty
and stuff
sure
like
in that he's still like an amalgamation of the aliens. So I don't think
he's got a crime past still. So like I feel like just at some point he discovered that he could absorb other stuff. It's just at first it was electricity because that was the first thing he could discover.
Yeah,
and that's just the only thing he tried.
Makes sense. What does he tell Ben in that episode? That he can absorb energy.
Yeah, he can absorb energy.
Yeah, I guess that could extend to more than electricity, potentially.
I mean,
so maybe
maybe.
he sort of knew, but...
It's just the thing is, like, his power changes pretty much entirely, because he never does something like that again. He only changes his skin into, like, other properties. Like,
but was it... I don't know. I might be confusing, like, the order of events that happened in this episode, but maybe was he able to absorb other things after he grabbed onto Ben's Omnitrix and a bunch of weird stuff happened?
I feel like it might be something after he turns back from like the amalgamation version.
I think that's what happens. But
so he was given the power by the Omnitrix.
I mean,
I think like when he got reverted, his powers just changed or something.
That's what I was thinking. More akin to
okay.
But I really liked this episode because like it just had. Like you could, Ben had like good morals. Like there was a good moral behind it, and you could see the struggle between like Ben. He's a good character because he's like, no, I'm standing on good. I'm not gonna turn to this crime you're doing. And yeah, I'm gonna stay good. And I think Max is another good like character in this episode and stuff. And like the fight under the bridge, with, like the forearms and stuff. It was just
that was good.
The only problem I have with this episode is that I think its first half is kind of weak, but then like the second half is really good.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. The next episode, I think my favorite episode. Actually, no, it's either episode 8 or 9 are my favorites, but episode 8, Alliance. I completely forgot this episode existed.
Same. Like I remember the episode, but only like sometimes out of nowhere, and then forget it again. Like, it's not bad, it's just kind of there.
I really liked it. I thought it was really... I guess, like, because... Like, it just starts out, and they're up at, like, I think, like, a gas station. And then, like, this, like, gang, they go to rob it, and then, Ben goes forearms and something. and it's revealed that it's like a gang of like females, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What? I'm not gonna hit you," and she's like, "All right," and they got like laser
That was
guns
a good
because of
forearms
course they do.
impression.
Yeah.
Another great Conor impression.
Another classic impression. Yeah. Of course. Yeah, and then like she has the laser gun, and then like the Vilgax like small drones come in and they attack that, and Max gets like hit with like rocks from the gas station because it kind of gets blown to bits.
Yeah.
Which had another good like setup of like Max is stuck in hospital because he's hurt himself, and I love the line from the doctor. He's like, "For a man his age, he's really healthy." It's like, yeah, he's really fit. He's like, it's like another one of those hints to like, oh, Max is, he knows more than he's letting on.
I like how they hinted at his past like throughout the entire season, and Gwen's pretty suspicious. Ben doesn't suspect a thing.
Like, and like Ben just being like, I want to help, but I can't, and it put him in a situation in which the watch couldn't get him out of it. He couldn't be the hero.
That's a good point, yeah.
Really interesting. And then the villain in the episode being like one of these biker girls who like merges with the robot, and again another good body horror, another good body horror episode. I don't know how you didn't notice.
I still find that kind of weird how that happens.
It is weird, and I don't think it ever happens again.
Is that just a function of those robots that they merge into people when they're dying? I don't know. Didn't make much sense.
I think they really just wanted to do a deal with the devil kind of thing, because like when she's taken over, she's having visions of like talking to Vilgax's face. It's like, you literally just made a pact with Cthulhu.
Yeah, I think it was a feel like Cthulhu, like based just purely on the fact that it was just the head, and like it was just a lot of, but like it was just I think this is like there's this one, the next one of my favorite episodes of the season. I really liked it, and the fact that like Ben had to like, one of the things I have issues with in like superhero stuff at them after 2016, in which they explicitly was like, yeah, you know, we gotta help the like it's like, you're causing so much destruction, you're hurting like millions of people. It's the episode where Ben's like, I gotta save the people, and it happens in Kevin 11 as well, where it's like, you don't hurt people, we gotta protect them, we gotta protect the innocent. And like I think he's like, he goes heat blast to melt the rocks, that doesn't work, so he has to blow up the bridge and all the rocks fall in. But the goal of like I'm like, that's a lot of property damage, but the whole goal is to help the people, and I really like that. I know it's a kids show, so they obviously have to like, people aren't gonna just die, but like it's just good to have that sort of like material of a hero going out and saving people.
Yeah,
that's true. I don't know, what are you talking about, the point where he melted all those ambulances to stop the rocks?
Yeah, I was like, but he's saving a hospital.
About that.
I was a bit like, that's a lot of, I was thinking more of like when the rocks just hit the melted ambulances and go down the hill, and he's like, oh no. And it's just, I was
just thinking that, I don't know how much Ben was thinking ahead though, because aren't they going to need that fleet of ambulances?
It's like, yeah, but also that could have been way worse.
That's true, yeah.
Like it could have like,
that's
say like
right.
the rocks
he made a
hit
little
the ambulances.
Sacrifice to save a hospital of people.
Yeah, because like the rocks could have just hit the ambulances, they would have exploded anyway, and then just continued in.
True. Yeah. Okay.
So, like,
probably was the best decision then.
And it and then you have Upgrade going like one of the best moments of Upgrade of the season, where like he goes into the robot to then see Vilgax for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was interesting.
And then like he sees that, and then like you have the teaser at the end in which he tells that to Grandpa Max, and he's like, I'm sure it's nothing, and then he gets like a grimace look and looks up into space.
Yeah.
And then like, he knows more than he's letting on. Also, I just wanted to point out like the music when Heat Blast when Heat Blast uses his fire, it screams, and it's just weird and interesting.
Yeah, the sound of Heat Blast shooting fire is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, it's like a scream of fire. It's so
like a howl.
Yeah, it's really cool. The sound design is really good in the show.
Oh yeah, I loved the music tracks as well. Like when I started rewatching it for the first time again, and that theme song, it was just like, oh yeah,
the iconic theme
back
song.
in it again.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
You very much feel like you're 10, sitting and watching the show, going like, back. It just takes you back to the grand old year of 2005, in which we weren't 10, but you know. Episode 8. Oh no, sorry, episode 9.
Episode 9.
Last Laugh.
Oh, that was a pretty good episode.
I remember this one like pretty much beat for beat from when I was a kid, but I really like this one.
Yeah, it was weird though how all of the clowns and the circus spreads in that, they all look like zombies. Found that a bit strange.
Yeah,
they used the character design for them.
Well, I mean, no, sorry, you go, Kyran.
Yeah, it's just kind of like each one looks like a different monster. Like the guy with the thumb head looking thing, he's kind of like Frankenstein. There's the girl who looks like Medusa, and then there's the guy who looks like the zombie. And then there's also Zombozo, who's just a demon, probably.
Yeah, it's like funny where it's like that's reasonable enough to believe he's a demon.
There was some serious It vibes throughout that episode.
I didn't get that exact.
Really?
I guess I
the
haven't
whole
seen
demon clown thing. And
I get the yeah, sure, demon
children.
clown. No, he's attacking everyone. So like, which is also an It thing. But like, I guess maybe it was just because I was just watching it and going, I love this episode because it's another one where like Max can't help, Gwen is trapped. It's all up to Ben, and he has this like big fear he has to face. Also, he doesn't. I appreciate that he doesn't call like the Zombozos like he doesn't call them villains until he sees them doing crime.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just like a neat thing.
Ben's
like,
not judgmental.
Yeah, like he's afraid of them, but like, well, he's particularly afraid of Zombozo. But like as soon as he sees them doing a crime, he's like, oh, they're villains. Yeah. And then also this episode is like messed up, like there's a clown who's stealing people's happiness and souls until people will die.
Yeah,
this is one of the episodes where like the threat of death is actually real, especially like when you see Gwen after she's been captured, because like her entire face is gaunt and you basically see her skeleton when she's just lying there.
Yeah, you're just sitting there going, dude, this is made for kids. Oh, what? Christ. And even, like, they had some really, like, creepy and cool visuals in this episode as well. I think this is my favorite. It's either this one episode. I think this one just takes the cake a little bit more because of Ghost Freak. I just love that ending where it's like, what are you going to do to scare the clown? Will you scare him back? Because you don't know you don't really know what it is he sees, which is, again, that, like, I suppose that fear of the unknown. But it's like, oh, it's just so good.
It was a really good episode. It definitely stood out among the rest of the series for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's just so good.
One problem I do have with it. Yeah, I just got one last thing. The only thing is, like, if Ben wasn't afraid of clowns, Zombozo would probably be the least powerful villain he's fought yet, because he basically just gets taken out by a 2x4 and like a single punch to the face. So, like, when you compare him to some of the other aliens or, like, the bounty hunters, he's just not powerful at all.
I mean,
he just gets annihilated.
It's got that it's got that like a psychological moment. It's not like a physical threat; it's a mental threat, which again is why I probably like him more. Like I really like that villain. Also, the episode describes him as a psychic vampire. So
yeah,
that's strange. Episode 10, Lucky Girl. Ben battles Hex Lord, which is the first appearance of him, an evil sorcerer. Oh, spooky. So, what did you guys think of this episode?
I didn't mind it. Yeah, it was bringing a whole extra layer into Ben 10, like the magic as well as the aliens and the strange soul-sucking vampires. It's really expanding the universe.
I just realized we see another psychic vampire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Alien Force, as it was like Dark Star or something. He's another psychic vampire. He just preys on females.
That's a bit sexist of him.
It's not great, but he's a villain. So you're like, you're no good. because he takes their energy to make himself look more handsome. So it's like a little bit different, but they're both psychic vampires. I think
I kind of remember him, but not really. I don't know if I've actually seen that episode.
I think it's like episode 3 of like Alien Force. I rewatched like the first season like I think a year or two ago, so it's a bit more in my head. But like
I haven't rewatched it yet.
That's fair enough. But like, yeah, it's just sorry. Here to get off track. I was just like psychic vampire. That's another psychic vampire. Oh my gosh, they're using the same continuity. Cool. I'm happy when they use the same continuity, unlike other stuff where they just keep making up more and more and more things. This one has they have different people. Like how Hexlord, I think you meet his daughter later on, right?
Oh wait, no, it's his. I think it's like granddaughter or
granddaughter. I think granddaughter makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, sounds sort of familiar.
The thing is, though, Chomcaster turns into a bigger villain than this guy does.
Yeah, that's true. I think Chumcaster still lasts longer than he does. I think he appears like maybe once in Alien Force. No, not Alien Force, Omniverse.
Yeah, that's the other
thing. He makes appearance.
Yeah, this is another villain that's kind of a chump. Because, like, he gets beaten in, like, the first 5 minutes, but then comes back later, and I'm like, I mean, you beat him with basically no effort earlier, so why is he so hard now? Shows. Like, when there's someone defeated almost instantly, but then they still turn out to be one of the main villains and just come back and nothing's changed. Yet there's somehow a problem now.
Karen's watching it going, hit him with a 2x4.
Pretty much. Doesn't he like get taken out by a bookshelf or something at one point?
I don't remember that, but I think at like the end. No, I think at the end he gets hit by like rocks in the face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at the end, doesn't like Grandpa Max just have like a big stone pipe and just clocks him over the head with it and shoves him in a sarcophagus? Yeah, he's just. Some of these
he's a bit inconsistent, especially since he has all those powers as well. Like, you'd think he'd be able to do almost anything with those.
Also,
that's the thing. It's more that he's still kind of new at using the watch at this point, so he's not very experienced with a lot of the.
Oh no! Sorry, I was talking about the other dude.
Yeah, he should be way more.
The magician, wizardy guy.
Oh yeah,
I thought he should be able to use all those charms he has a lot more effectively than.
Well, I mean, I guess he was going after the book to teach him more. So
true.
But even then, like, it feels like he's been around a while, so he should know a bit more tricks. But like this episode's like, and magic exists. Enjoy. And there's no like setup, no nothing. I was like, there's and magic.
Yeah.
It's also
sorry. I was just gonna say we haven't really talked about the whole title of this episode as well, Lucky Girl. We haven't talked about Gwen being all lucky. Yeah, that was interesting how she got the whole luck charm. Although I don't know, the whole luck powers thing, like, seen it in Marvel as well. It's a really confusing power because you're not sure how far it can go and whether they're just undefeatable because of it. Although Gwen eventually lost the charm, but I don't know. It's hard to tell how effective it is.
Yeah, I found it weird that it always backfired on Ben. I'm like, was he just unlucky? Like, what's the normal? Like, because she just has extra luck where everyone else
maybe just unconsciously she wanted to mess with Ben as well.
Yeah, like it's like that's like fair enough. And I'm like, oh, like come on, not like a few times I'm like, Ben doesn't like he's just trying his best. Don't come on. Yeah, so what were you saying before, Karen?
I was just gonna talk about Lucky Girl as well, but I think the way the charm works, it works out so the situation's ends best for her. Or she takes other people's luck from around her to add to her own, which might explain why Ben keeps getting ticked over.
That would make sense, actually.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
One thing I find dumb, though, I still don't know why she bothers to destroy her charm at the end. Like, she destroys all the others, but, like, she could still have just kept that and it would have been completely fine. Like, you've got all the guy's powers except the one, which you now have, and as long as you have it, he can't really do anything to you.
Yeah, I don't know. And
that's a good point.
Partway through the episode, wasn't Grandpa Max saying, "Oh, right, you should probably hand that into a museum eventually or something"? But she was just like, "Nah, destroy them all.
Break them." Well, I mean, to be
they
fair,
have no value.
If she was to hand him into a museum, he could just break out of prison, go to a museum, steal the thing, and then collect the thunder again. Like that's probably what happened before. Is that they're all
probably so?
He
Gwen
walked
probably
around,
thought it out a bit more than Grandpa Max did. Which makes sense. She's pretty smart.
Also, just another moment is like, yeah, Ben, he's saving people. They're saving people. They're heroes saving people. I just really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Doing what they're meant to do.
Okay. Ooh, episode 11. A small problem. This is the one where the...
This was a good one.
What's it called? The organization?
Yeah.
It's the Forever Knights.
Yeah, I know the name Forever Knights, but in this episode they're just called the organization, or like... But yeah, the Forever Knights. This is the first interaction. I'm like, ooh, okay, alright. These are main villains later on, but for now, they're just like a secret society. And I had a spotlight episode on Grey Matter, which is cool.
Yeah, I really like that. And you got to learn a bit more about Grey Matter and his powers and everything. Because I think before then, when I'd watched it as a kid, I didn't really understand Grey Matter as much. Didn't realise he was super smart. Just thought, oh, he's small.
Yeah, I think he's only used in the Bounty Hunter episode before this.
No, he's used in the second episode, the hunt through all the serum.
Oh,
boxes.
right. Yeah, but that's when you basically know nothing about him. Episode 5, you get a bit of a hint that he's smart, because he's talking about like all the complex stuff about the crab guy, and he's like, wait, how do I know this?
I love that, like, every time he explains the thing, he goes, gosh, I wish I knew what I was... I wish I knew what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had the whole crazy alien fanatic kidnapping Grey Matter, and then them going to the big castle of the Forever Knights. I thought, it was a pretty decent episode.
And there's like another hint where like Max, like, he said a thing, and Gwen's like, okay, that's a lot of information. How do you know this stuff? And then I think in this episode I was like, what happens if Ben dies in alien form? Like it's never addressed because it never happens.
Alien, wouldn't he?
I think he reverts back to human form, but he's just dead.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Or, like, they kill him, and then, like, 10 minutes later when the watch goes beep, 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 beep.
Well, actually, it might just turn him back into normal, because you see a lot of times, like, he takes a massive beating as an end and then turns back and he's fine. Like, I'm pretty sure at one point, like, forearms or someone gets, like, a bone broken or something, almost. And he comes back, and he's, like, limping or something, but it's not actually broken.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I think I'm remembering something like that at one point.
Maybe
someone...
I don't know if maybe, like, he, like, dislodges something or whatever. Well, hey, we've got, like, 4 seasons to watch. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Episode 12, Side Effects. When Ben actions, he gets a cold, and now aliens have... Oh no, heat blasters... Cool blast.
Yeah, this is one of the most forgettable episodes, except the ending part with Heat Blast, because that's one of the parts where I was like, okay, Heat Blast is awesome, regardless of what happens.
My only note is Bugman.
Yeah.
I was like,
he wasn't the best villain.
Like that was the only. I was like, oh yeah, he's a Bugman.
I liked him for a while.
Yeah, it was like for a while. It's like it's a fine episode. I think
what were Bugman's motivations again? Just get out of my house?
Pretty much, like, he grew up in this building with
get
all
off
the
my
bugs
lawn.
in that. And he was, like, orphaned, and he just lived in that building, and he made friends with the bugs or something, and now they're trying to get rid of it, and he's like, how dare you get rid of this health and safety violation?
I'm a nuke the city!
Yeah.
And he had, like, a cockroach suit, and you're like, clever.
I'm pretty sure he actually comes back in Omniverse at one point.
Actually, I think I don't know if maybe not Omniverse, but he does come back. Oh, maybe he comes back.
I think it's Omniverse. I'm pretty sure this guy does come back, like, once.
That's fair enough. Like Omniverse, I can see that similar style.
Does this guy actually have powers, though? Or is he just
he
really
can control
good
bugs.
buds with the bugs?
I think he's got a psychic connection with them.
Okay, because I couldn't figure that out at first. Like,
kind of like how Ant-Man can like talk to the ants. I feel like it's a similar thing, except it's a bit more psychic and less more like technology based.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So the last episode of the season, episode
Great
13,
episode.
Secrets.
This was one of my favorites for sure.
I think at the beginning it showed like a clip where Vilgax is like looking at all these different screens of what Ben is doing, and then Diamond Head saves the cat after a literal save the cat moment.
I didn't even see that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And this is one of the ones that was like, oh my god, there's so much destruction. So many people are going to get hurt and injured.
Oh well, at least Diamond Head saved a cat. That's good.
Also, what a muscly guy he is. Like, when you first see Vilgax, he looks like such a wimp.
Yeah,
But in this one, he's
Vilgax
got
is
like
an awesome villain.
thick arms, and he's just gonna like
He's been
he's gonna
hibernating in that sap chamber thing.
like he's gonna pick up 4 arms as his head and just full on like crush him into the pavement.
Yeah, he's definitely worth the payoff because like those big spike things on Vilgax's arms are like pumps or something, so like pump into him and his muscles expand out.
It's either like steroids or adrenaline.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
that.
Did you
makes
not
sense.
notice that?
I didn't realize he gets bigger because of the things in
The
his
episode
arms.
did
I
the
thought he was
spotlight.
just naturally
it
a bulk
showed
guy.
his arms growing bigger as the spikes went in.
Yeah, they grow to like 3 times the
I've
size,
missed
and
a
then he
lot.
can just. I'm pretty sure like throws C+ through like 20 buildings with one hand just because.
Oh wow, so he's a little bit like Bane then.
Kind of, but way more jacked.
Except he's not
more
gonna
jacked
break.
Bane.
He's not gonna break someone's back. He's gonna rip someone's spine out like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
No,
because I think Vilgax's basic strength is about the same as Bane with Venom.
yeah,
So then he just gets like 3 times stronger, and he's like, "Sup?"
Yeah, but it really shows like what a formidable opponent he
yeah.
is.
It's like when you watch the series and like, this was worth the wait because he just full on like he wrecks house, he destroys buildings, he like throws Ben so far, and like I feel like also in my notes I'm like, damn, this guy's powerful. Like
he gets beaten kind of easy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure just like gets shot with the
Vilgax?
railgun. That's pretty much it.
Oh, wasn't this him getting?
Yeah, but that gun is like made
I
for
thought
him.
This was like his whole ship exploding with him in it, though. At the end of the episode.
Yeah, but like I think he gets
Oh, that
shot
too.
by the railgun back into the ship after he escapes it, which then explodes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which I mean, come
But
on.
He does come back though from.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
comes back a lot. But like, my other notes are like the stakes are high. Ripjaw is rare to see because he
Yeah.
appears in like that one
Yeah.
bit, like on like the
It shows how useless he is outside of water, definitely.
and then like really cool toys. I mean gadgets.
Oh yeah, and the big reveal that
like
Grandpa Max
when I
is an awesome plumber.
Kind
Is it
Pretty
of.
much
revealed,
is. He
though?
takes Gwen
It's
to his
kinda
big
revealed-
base.
it's
thing.
revealed like he know. Oh, yeah, but okay. So what happens is like Grandpa he's revealed to know a lot of stuff. He's got like this secret like place he used to work at like a government agency, I guess. But at the end of the episode, when you think it's like, oh, he's gonna tell the kids that he's a plumber, it just ends with Ben like smiling at the camera, going, "Hey, Grandpa, you got some stuff to tell us about," and then like just cuts, and I'm like, "Oh,
Oh
I
no,
guess
it's
nothing
a,
is
it's,
revealed."
it's
Is that
a
even something
pretty
he's a
big
plumber?
reveal though, because it shows for sure that Grandpa Max does something else.
Like it's
and he
revealed
has these
that he's
weapons.
had
He knows who
yeah,
Vilgax is.
true. Like he's had a past of Vilgax. He's got a past, but like it's just. I was expecting a thing like a not what he seems from like Gravity Falls, in which it reveals a lot of information about a character you know. But like this one is like it reveals a bit of information, but also wait till next season.
It's a pretty good cliffhanger, I reckon.
Which I was like, oh, all right then. It
It's
is a good.
decent.
I don't know. I wouldn't call it a. I don't know if I'd call it like a.
I don't know. Maybe I was
cliffhanger,
just
sort of
overly
like,
invested
oh.
in Grandpa Max.
That's look fair. He's a good character, and overall it's a really good episode, and it has some real cool
Yeah,
stuff. in
that
it.
was my favorite episode of the season. Just the final episode. It culminates in so many
That's
things.
fair,
You see
that's
so
fair.
many aliens in one episode. Lots of big battles in one episode. Vilgax revealed. Grandpa Max past almost fully revealed, but not. It's like, I don't know. I really liked that episode.
Alright. One thing I always
got
remember,
Conor.
like when he has caught Ben and has him in the thing, he's got like that giant thing around the arm with the Omnitrix. Because like, alright, it's time to extract it, and it's like, okay, how are you gonna do that? Just like find a way to take the watch off, and he's like, no, pulls out this giant like plasma chainsaw that also has like an extra 200 blades on it. It's like, just cut your arm off here. Like, he probably could have just like torn his hand off like in the first 2 seconds of their meeting, but okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is a lot
Yeah,
more
sure.
cleaner.
All those blades just real clean.
Yeah, I don't know. And like he likes to do his work in his own office, like
Oh, one of the other things I really like about this episode, the rust bucket.
Oh,
See what it is actually like. And it's like,
yeah.
holy crap, they were driving around in this the whole time and they barely used it.
Yeah, why weren't they flying around everywhere?
Like, I think in episode 5, when the bounty
like-
hunters are chasing them, he does like use the rocket jets at one point, and they go super fast, but no one really addresses it.
Oh, I didn't even
maybe?
notice
I
it.
don't
So
remember
maybe
that. I feel like I
that's
would've written
pretty
that
cool
down.
if Grandpa Max did it that subtly.
It's just as soon as I saw like it transform, with like the when it's transforming, I'm like, I feel like I remember the toy ad for this. It's like, you can get the rust bucket. Look, it
Whoa.
transformed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
And then it's like action
Of course,
action figure soldier.
batteries too.
You can stop Vilgax as well. It's
Oh.
hero time. Like, it's just. It's like one of the only moments in like the first season which I'm like, that was made for
Yeah.
toys. Like it's just another good thing where like Ben 10 had such a good relationship with the toy manufacturers because they would introduce a new alien, a new villain every few episodes. The toy manufacturers could just make so many toys, so many different variants.
Oh yeah.
Like on so many things, had a vehicle to use. They had like different figurines and stuff. Like Ben had 10 different aliens as well as like all these different villains and all these different other aliens you'd see. And then as the seasons go on, he gets more and more aliens, and I'm sitting there going like, just get more and more toys, it's just making more
I
money.
mean, it's not a horrible thing. I'd still buy most of it.
I mean, I'd buy them now. I still have like a classic
Oh.
Accelerate
I didn't
toy.
really have that. I like that one bit more.
I have like a few Alien Force ones because I think I was just
Yeah, you
I
had
bought
a
all
lot
the toys
of
when Alien
cool
Force
stuff.
or an Ultimate Alien were around. But like I used to have a Diamond Head. I don't know where, or my brother did. I don't know where he went. But yeah, I still have like an old Accelerate. Man, what a good like. This is a good season.
Yeah.
This is a good season overall. What would you rate it out like a 5-star rating system of or whatever? How would
I'd
you
probably
rate the
give
season?
it about an 8 out of 10. It's like
That's
it's really
fair.
good and it shows a lot of promise, but there
fair
are
enough.
some weak points. Like episode 2 was kind of
Yeah.
and like some of the others. Like I still
Yeah,
think
that's
the start
fair.
of the Kevin 11 episode was a bit slow, and then it ramped up really quickly. And also the Kraken episode only existed because
yeah.
they needed rip jaws.
He's got a fish alien, guy. He's a fish alien. Josh, what's your rating?
I probably agree with Kyran actually. So 8 out of 10, 4 stars. The main thing that takes it down a little bit for me was something you mentioned a bit earlier, Conor. It was just the writing in some episodes. It seemed a bit off. I mean, I know you can't really make a show about aliens and wizards and soul-sucking vampires super realistic, but some of the dialogue just didn't seem realistic. But then again, it is a kids' show. It's targeted at kids. They wouldn't really care about that stuff. They just want to see alien fights and stuff, or at least I know that's all I wanted to see back in the day. Yeah.
We didn't care about the writing. We're like, he's Heat Blast now. He's gonna save the
and
day.
it's just such a creative concept. Like, I don't think I've seen any other show quite like this, which makes it really
I don't think there
just
is
makes it
any
really
other show
unique.
quite
And
like
I
this.
think, yeah, so it's solid 4 stars. It's a really great show, great season to kick it off. And yeah, it's good how it eases you into really big plot points as well. Like, you don't get the massive Vilgax coming right at him at the start. You don't find out Grandpa Max is a plumber until end of season 1, start of season 2. Well, a plumber, not a plumber.
Yeah.
So they really do sort of slow reveals, which I think is good. They build up to it. So yeah, really solid season, very solid show. 4 stars.
Yeah, that's fair. I was gonna give it like a 3.5 star thing, which is like
Okay.
equivalent to like a 7. Because my issue with the writing wasn't like it was like not realistic, because obviously the situation, but like there are giant. It's a T-Rex who's like half alive, half kind of dead. Like, as a scientist writing that, going, "Give me my certificate and award." Like, I don't expect the writing to be stellar and stuff, but there's just a few things that, like, they would like overstate things or over-mention a few things, and I'm like, you didn't really have to say that, or like that sentence was worded weirdly.
And
But like, apart from that, like, it's a good series, and I did really enjoy, and I'm looking forward to the rest of
also,
it.
on that script thing as well, they have a lot of exposition in the dialogue. Like, if they didn't explicitly show you a villain's motivations or something like that, then they're going to say it exactly right to the camera. Even if there's no one around, they're just going to be okay, I need to get my trophy now.
Gwen is Gwen is so good at Googling.
Yeah.
She's like, typing. Oh, look, he's like this mysterious guy who we have no idea about. He likes bugs, I guess.
Absolutely. Oh, another great thing as well that we haven't mentioned about the show, but I want to mention is all the great one-liners. It is full of one-liners. That's like all Ben ever does when he's an alien. Just classic one-liner jokes. They don't always hit. They're not always great, but
I mean, like,
they're always there.
yeah.
And I don't know. I appreciated that. Like loads of puns.
Yeah, like so, like yeah, you're like yeah, there's some good stuff, and yeah, it's just like a neat thing. Like oh yeah, that's a bit of, like for a kid you'd be like oh that's funny, and now you're like oh that's funny. On about that note, where could people find you on the internets and the medias and whatever?
Oh,
I don't have any.
Kyran, of course you don't. You can find Kyran here on this YouTube
you've got
channel
an
and nowhere
exclusive.
else.
That's pretty exciting.
I don't. He's too lazy to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
He won't leave.
Well, I'm just going to do a typical plug for QT Hype and the podcast that Conor and I are on. Who Brought the Popcorn? We talk about movies.
Yeah, the first episode of Who Brought the Popcorn will be out by the time this comes out.
Hopefully, yes.
Yes, that's the plan. Oh, if it is, there'll be a link in the description and stuff. But so yeah, you work with QUT Hype and the podcast there.
Yes, absolutely. Great group, especially if you're in QUT and you want to find out a bit more about campus culture, that sort of thing. Definitely good for that. And yeah, we just do a whole bunch of different creative things. Who Brought the Popcorn isn't the only series, so we've got lots of other really good ones, casual conversations, interviewing clubs around the university. But yeah, I'd recommend that one.
I guess you could find me on Twitter at Goddamn Robots. You could find me on my YouTube channel, which you're watching this on. Hello.
Don't forget Letterboxd.
I was gonna plug my Letterboxd. Yeah, you can find me on Letterboxd at what's his face. You can find me there. You can see all the movies I've been watching. Thanks, Josh, for coming onto the show for the season 1 TV retrospective.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for having me. It's great to watch Ben 10 again.
And we're clear.